Oh, how does my favorite song of yore go? Is it White Sox? White Sox? Go, White Sox. Do. White Sox. Let's talk about them. Here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show.
We're with you all the way.
White Sox. Post-game show presented to you by Bet365. When you sign up, use promo code CHGO365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Welcome into Studio B of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm Sean Anderson. Alongside me, producer Joey Christopoulos.
Hey, what's up, Sean?
Hello. What's up? Where do we start?
The scoreboard runs.
The
our
scoreboard
offense
helps 9-3, and the White Sox have won 3 series out of the break. They've beaten the Pirates, the Rays, and the Phillies. What'd they do with our team? This team has been amazing. Josh Nelson has had some fun stats that we got to talk about. This team's hitting like 1.8 homers a game since the break. They were the 5th team since 1906, 1905, CHSN flashed it, to have 4 players under 25 years or younger hit a home run today. What? How is that real? Hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We will be talking about the White Sox today. We'll be talking about the White Sox tomorrow. There'll be a show tomorrow around 5:30. We'll be recapping any deadline moves. Today, we'll be talking, obviously, about the 9-3 win for the Chicago White Sox. We'll be talking about your comments. So if you have any thoughts, let us know in the comment section below. We'll be talking, obviously, again, about the White Sox, Colson Montgomery's great stretch of games post-All-Star break. We'll be talking about Austin Slater being traded to the Yankees, and then we'll wrap up with some pre-trade deadline discussions. If you have any thoughts on Luis Robert Jr., mainly, and Joey, I don't know if we could start a poll. Do you want to see Luis Robert Jr. traded? Just yes or no. At the end of the day, don't even say, well, if we get this. Just think like if they're going to trade him, they're not trading him for a top 100 prospect, right? They're just getting him off the books. And if they pick him up, obviously there's no promises that he'll be good. You're just thinking he's worth the $20 million. All right. So if you can create, I think it's on the actual YouTube side. So maybe not. I'll figure it out. Just say, do you want Robert or not? And we'll get to that later on in the show. Let's jump into the 7th inning because that was the fun inning for your Chicago White Sox. There were obviously important moments. The White Sox hit Taijuan Walker, the starter for the Phillies, fairly well. Teel hit a homer off him. Luis Robert Jr. hit a single that was like 113 miles per hour. Later, Montgomery would hit his homer off of Walker as well. Robert almost hit one out as well in that same inning right before Montgomery. But let's get to the 7th where the White Sox just couldn't get out. Rojas doubled to center. Tauchman then singled to center, then Sosa singled to right, scoring Tauchman, then Benintendi singled, then Vargas homered to left, then Teel singled, then Robert reached on an infield single. They relieve Laser. That didn't matter because then Montgomery struck out, Quero homered, Rojas out. I think they had 7 straight hits. That was tied for a major league high in a game this year so far. That was a real fun inning. Just as a team that lost 121 last year and the way that they've come out of the gates, just scoring. I think the first 9 games, it was 66 runs. Pardon me if I'm wrong on that. You can add on 9 from today. Yesterday, they scored 3, and then the day before that, they scored 6. So 18 in this series. 66 plus 18, Joey.
66 plus 18 is 84.
84 runs in 12 games. Is that good?
It's really good.
It's really good.
I'm getting upset that they didn't get the double digits. They should have gotten the double digits because that's what we're getting used to.
Oh, you're talking
tonight.
They should have added on one more.
Oh, yeah.
Because that would have been their 5th game.
It's called standards, Sean.
It is called standards, and the standards are being raised on the south side, and it's weird. I understand not to get too out of depth here and not to get too overblown. This team barely borders on fun bad. They possibly will be the number 1 pick receiver in the 2026 draft. The Rockies might beat their record now from 2024. Rockies have also been playing better as of late, but at the end of the day, like, this team is fighting with that 100-loss battle. However, they're kind of fighting it. I'm trying to find the tweet from Elijah Evans. I guess I'll just go to Elijah Evans' page. But the Sox have been insane out of the All-Star break to start. This team won 41 games in 2024, 40 wins in July already. So let's just put that in perspective. Thank you for Elijah. I don't know even why I needed his tweet to say that. The Sox are at 40 and 69 this year. Jerry in the chat above talked about going 23 and 30. Just scroll up. There we go. Can this team win another 23 games, 23 and 30 in their last 53? That would be 63 and 99. It's not crazy, Jerry. I don't think, like, I thought this team had the ability in May to be over 500. Obviously, there's the chance that they trade Robert. There's also the rumor that they were fine to keep him. They're fine to pick up that option for next year. It's July 30th. We're less than 24 hours away from the deadline. He's still a White Sox. So if they have Robert at the end of the year, I think it's possible that they can go 23 and 30. Now, if they lose Robert, they lose Hauser, they lose bullpen pieces, it might be more difficult. But this team out of the break has been extremely impressive, and I'm enjoying the vibe. So the last thing I'm going to say is no, they can't be 7 games under 500 because they're going to win the World Series.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, Sean, because, yeah, you're right. When you try to map out how the season would go, you figured, yeah, they were going to cast off a bunch of guys, and it was going to get really ugly in August and September. But, like, let's be real. The more flaws will be exposed on this team when they do trade relievers and maybe Hauser and maybe even Robert Jr. But it's the kids that's carrying this team right now. And the arrow is pointing up on a lot of them. So I do have I'm a little more bullish on the White Sox not having the roof cave in on them in August and September because the roster would be gutted.
I hear you. And that's the other thing, too, is just like there aren't expectations for this team. This was truly Chris Getz's first year of a rebuild. Next year is still going to be a rebuilding year. So let's also not get way too ahead of our skis. This team has no expectations. So all you should be doing right now is having fun. And the fact that Colson Montgomery is doing this is extremely fun. The fact that Quero is the best hitter in Major League Baseball against left-handed pitching, that's fun. We don't need to talk about his right-handed pitching or his stats against right-handed pitching. That's not fun. I don't want to do that. Do you want to do that? That's not fun. I want to talk about Kyle Teel. He's now got 2 homers post All-Star break. He's looking like he's catching up to Major League fastballs. Taijuan Walker isn't that good, but that ball went 107 off the bat. That's a Major League homer.
Laser.
I want to talk about our guy Chase Meindroth. Yeah, he left the game, but the X-ray was negative. So let's go. And Meindroth, as a 9-hitter, he could be a pretty fun player. Shane Smith was an all-star. Like, there's a lot of things just that are fun on this team. Will Venable has done a good job in his first year. I don't want to say, like, oh, the roof's going to cave in on him. This team's bad. Don't expect anything from them. And the fact that they're beating the Rays and Phillies and Pirates, those are just, cherries on top. This team might not lose 110 games. That is the goal. That was probably the goal before the year. And the fact that they're even, having fun with possibly losing less than 100 games, like, let's see that picture shape up a little bit more until we get to September. Am I off on that, Joey?
No, not at all. I mean, yeah, look, we've done this a couple of times. We've had a couple yo-yo moments where they actually a couple weeks ago, or was it maybe 3 weeks ago, they got off on a really nice start. I think they won like 5 or 6 in a row. Kind of fell back a little bit, started playing poorly, and now they're hot again. This could be a little bit of the hallmark of a young team, a little bit of up and down. But, I mean, even in the watchability index, I mean, this is just night and day, and I'm excited. If the ceiling is going to cave in August and September, I actually think I'm going to enjoy watching it.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, Josh Nelson points out this one too. I forgot the preseason over/under win-loss record for the White Sox, 49.5.
Ooh,
10 more wins.
Staring it.
2 months of baseball.
Down the barrel.
Cash it, folks. That's exciting. And the other one that I wanted to get to from
Hey,
Josh,
honey, I won a White Sox bet. When was the last time we said that?
Josh said 20 homers in 11 games. I think it's got to be 20 homers in 12 games because haven't they played 12 games post All-Star break? But make that 1.82 homers per game post All-Star break. Pre All-Star break, they were at 0.78. And remember, in right field, we had Palacios for how long? At shortstop, it was Amaya and Capra. I love Brooks Baldwin, but Baldwin was real rough after his April start. Like, Vaughn was a -2 WAR player. I don't know what the hell's going on with Andrew Vaughn in Milwaukee. I think it's truly just him pulling fly balls, and you're like, well, how would the White Sox fix that? I don't think that guy wanted to be here. I don't think that guy was working to be this. Different story. But I think that what we are seeing now is possible to be like the new White Sox, just because these young guys are what is carrying them. It's not Slater who's gone. It's not Tauchman who has been nice, but Tauchman is being aided by 4 homers from Quero, Teel, Vargas.
Even Benintendi. It's not like Benintendi has to carry us. But I mean, he's been playing well, but don't get me wrong. Like, there's 5 or 6 guys that I look forward to watch at the plate on a daily basis. And it seems like they have a nice rotating little stretch right now of different guys coming up with hits at different times. And right now it's a good run for all of them. It's just really fun to watch.
And you brought up Benintendi. I mean, he's got 13 homers, and he robbed a Bryce Harper homer. You think Bryce Harper's going in the dugout and being like, hey, we got to trade for that guy? Fingers crossed.
The guy with the red gloves. It already makes sense.
I want that White Sox outfielder with a gold glove.
Bring him in.
88? No. 23.
Bryce, are you getting your numbers wrong? Or no.
23. Just robbed that homer. He's got a
Eat
gold
the money.
glove.
I'll eat the money. Right. Bring him over.
Oh, yeah. No, that has not been Andrew Benintendi out there in the field. I don't know who that was today. But anyways, there's reasons to be excited. But also, like, don't get too excited, because this team still has to then win more than 60. And they have to win more than 70, and they have to win more than 80, and they have to win more than 90, right? And then that's when you get to the playoffs, and then you got to win a playoff game. Like, there's so many milestones that they have to get to. It's nauseating, and that's why I think you just got to enjoy the moment. There were no moments last year to enjoy. The fact that you can go to a ballpark now, probably more specifically, Wright Field, and see players that bring you joy. The fact that I can entertain buying a Colson Montgomery jersey, and it's like, oh boy, what color should I buy? I have so many black alternate jerseys, but maybe I finally get a home one. I spill food all over myself.
I got a fun Colson stat for you when you're ready.
Go ahead.
Oh, you want one right? You want it right now?
I guess.
Ooh,
I'm teased.
Oh, okay. Well, teased, and let's just deliver it. Okay, here we go. Here are the stats. Colson Montgomery through 21 games, as of right now, 1.0 WAR, 5 home runs, 18 RBIs. Slash line 257, 313, 513. The Vaughn Voldemort, who shall not be named, 48 games, minus 1.8 WAR, 5 home runs, 19 RBIs, 189 slash line, 218 on base, 314 slug. And all I'm trying to say is there has been a bit of, when we're talking about lineup construction, we've seen this for a healthy stretch of games now, but Colson now has kind of been, so he kind of substituted for Andrew Vaughn.
Well,
and in a short span of time, is already exceeding the production that we were getting from that part in the lineup, the guy that we had to run out there every single day.
I hear you and I don't. I think that's a bit of a stretch because, again, the true hole that Andrew Vaughn made has not been replaced. They have put Miguel Vargas and Lenyn Sosa to try to patch it up, but that hasn't worked because now they've abandoned putting Sosa at shortstop, having Colson Montgomery, the future shortstop, be the third baseman. He's played 21 games, 11 of them before today were at third base. So finally he plays his 11th game at shortstop today. He's finally at 22 games, 11 at third base, 11 at shortstop. The only reason he's playing third base is because they can't play Sosa at first. So Sosa can't play first. Vargas has to play first. Sosa has to play second. Colson has to play third, and Mydroth has to play shortstop.
But offensively,
it's nauseating. No, like offensively, he's replacing dumbass Jacob Amaya and Vinny Capra, who I had to hear be lied about that they were above average defenders when they didn't bring anything to the damn club. And I understand that I wouldn't even endorse Colson Montgomery to be the opening day shortstop out of camp. But it's more of an indictment on Getz that when you see the actual opening day shortstop, or who should have been the opening day shortstop, in Colson Montgomery have a back injury 3 games in, that's when you call up Elvis Andrus. That's when you call up Jose Iglesias. That's when you get a veteran into camp and not have Amaya or Capra. Spend the $1 million or whatever, $2 million, to have an actual shortstop until May 15th. So, I hear you. I don't want to talk about Vaughn.
I was going to say, I thought Vaughn was going to rile you up, so I thought that was an interesting.
The fact that you just said that he has 5 homers in his 2025 White Sox stint, and Colson already has 5 in the past 8 games. nasty. All right, hit that thumbs up button. We're going to talk about the good side of Colson. James Fegan obviously did wonderful work over at Sox Machine. We're going to talk about Colson's success in the last 8 games and how part of it has come. Obviously, they made some changes in Arizona, but they're still tweaking him. Let's talk about him, and I'll try not to vomit while I compare him to Andrew Vaughn next on the CHGO White Sox postgame show. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. They are now live in Illinois. Sign up with our code CHGO365. When you sign up, bet $5 and you get $150 in bonus bets. You could bet that on spreads, props, futures, whatever you feel like. In-game wagering. Hey, maybe you got a feeling that Luis Robert Jr. is going to hit a home run mid-game. You can use your bonus bets that you got when you sign up as a new customer. Plus, they have some fun stuff for Major League Baseball fans. With the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner. If your team goes ahead 5 runs, you get an instant payout on singles, straight bets, and parlay selections. Those get marked as winners if your team takes a 5-run lead. Check out our friends over at Bet365. Again, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Sign up, use code CHGO365. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call Crisis Counseling and Referral Services. They can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Game Time. Co-host Sean, when was the last time you went to a baseball game? Oh, co-host Sean, that was great. A great question. I went to a baseball game very recently. Oh, co-host Sean, you should tell me about it. Oh, thank you very much, co-host Sean. All right, we're going to stop this bit. I went to a baseball game very recently, and I used Game Time to get in there. And I got this sweet bobblehead for the, I think it's the, United Sunday bobblehead series. Ooh, there was a Ray Durham. There was a Charles Comiskey. I think there's going to be a Babe Ruth, Al Simmons one coming up. Very fun. Anyways, there was also this beautiful Burley, Garland, Garcia, and Contreras bobblehead that I was able to get because of the cheap tickets over at Game Time. The best part about Game Time, the closer it gets to game time, the prices of the tickets go down. And with White Sox baseball, those ticket prices can get real cheap. So go check out our friends over at Game Time. Use code CHGO to get $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Get $20 off your first purchase with code CHGO. Welcome back to the CHGO White Sox postgame show. Goop Like Soup is fueling my nightmares. Co-host Sean is better than co-host Sean. That's why we don't invite too many guests on the show.
Personally, I like you, Sean, more than co-host Sean. But that's goop.
I'm just having an identity crisis. I don't know who I am. Am I co-host Sean? Am I Sean? Am I other co-host Sean? Who am I? Anyways, hit that like button if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We will be here tomorrow at 5:30 for a post-trade deadline show. We'll be reacting to all the trades. Obviously, if Robert's gone at 10 a.m., I'll probably just do a show then. We'll figure it out. All right, it's a busy day. Just plan for 5:30. We'll be doing a show to recap all of the deadline news and notes. Let's talk about Colson Montgomery. If you are not a subscriber over at SoxMachine.com for James Fegan's work, please go subscribe to Sox Machine if you do have the ability to. I think James is the best writer, I don't want to say that. I think James is really good, focused work, and I think the fact that James gets to be there for 162 games, he does a really good job. I love Vinny, so I'm not gonna say best. That's James Fegan is one of my favorites, not my favorite. Shout out to Vinny. Anyways, James Fegan had a article today about Colson Montgomery switching to a torpedo bat. I don't want to read too much of it to give away the things that they paywall. So I do want to build it into our actual discussion here. Yes, the White Sox have had an extreme difficulty of developing talent and developing hitters. That is why Ryan Fuller is here. That is why Rick Hahn is now on the MLB Network's trade deadline lead up for 10 hours. And Chris Getz is the head. He thought that he can possibly change the White Sox from within. That's why you see Ryan Fuller, Brian Bannister on the pitching side, Barfield. I'm forgetting other names, but the idea is to bring players in and actually develop them. Paul DeYoung as well, who's on the player development side, former player, not Paul DeYoung, Paul Janish. My bad. Confusing my middle infielder, Pauls, who played for the Cardinals. Anyways, Colson has obviously had struggles this year, and the fact that he has been so bright of a star should get you excited about not only Colson Montgomery, but I think the White Sox organization. Colson didn't have the spring training that he wanted due to back injuries. He didn't have the start of his April because I think that was his spring training in a way, his actual April AAA stats. But they still noticed that the Colson that they know wasn't showing himself in April. So they go to Arizona and try to work on his stance. And it wasn't much that they even overhauled. They just had him stand a little bit more straight. And what he talked about was it was lack of the swing adjustments in Arizona. It was more about a confidence that grew in Arizona of, oh, now I'm actually able to recognize breaking balls. That's going to give me more confidence in games because I'm standing up straighter. Kid's 6'4", so he can see the bend in the baseball a little bit sooner than, someone who's 5'8" like moi. That's why I'm not slugging dingers out there. Anyways, Colson takes that, and it's still not, hot and heavy in AAA. It still took him a bit to get ready. But the White Sox figured out, or at least theorized, that he's ready enough to play at the major league level. And you could see in the first couple of games, the first 14 games, that he was up and down, did well against Colorado, struggled against Toronto, struggled against Cleveland, and through his first 14 games, a 688 OPS. No homers. But then, James Fegan comes in with his piece. The very next at-bat off of homering off Christopher Sanchez Monday night, Colson Montgomery lifted another drive a few steps in front of the warning track in right field that got fans briefly excited once more. But he never thought it had a chance of going out. I could tell it hit off a little bit of the end at the end of my torpedo bat. Then James goes in talking about how it was Colson describing before his first home run, he was talking about switching to a torpedo bat, and they ended up to do it. The White Sox ran numbers, is what James says, and they're not shy about showing pride in how much more capable they are of putting research into action these days. Montgomery started lining up as a good candidate for a torpedo bat. What the torpedo bat does is, I don't have the bat in here, but it takes the head of the barrel and moves it down. So rather than it being on the label, it's a little bit under the label, and guys, especially with Colson, as he's going to explain later, with longer arms, the shorter torpedo barrel allows them not to get jammed more, so Colson doesn't have to change his swing. The bat does more of that work. He could still put all of the same effort into his swing, all of the same effort still being put into that bat. It's just the actual meat of the bat is shifted, so when you make contact a little bit down on the bat, it still goes further. So what Colson said was, it was just kind of a talk with all of our guys, with all of our hitting guys. We had a whole bunch of research with where I was hitting the ball off the bat, and they just told me to try it. The first game I tried it was the second game in Tampa. First at bat, I hit a homer with it, so I thought I'd just keep doing it. And then Colson, in the past 7 games, 250, a 714 slug, 4 homers, and then he comes up today and hits another one. And he's got 5 homers in the last 8 games. Again, it's not anything that's been, massive. They're just trying to help him. They're trying to notice what the athlete, the top-tier first-round athlete, does well, and they're trying to just have him be himself. And I think that that's what most baseball players need. What you see from Andrew Vaughn right now in Milwaukee is a baseball player being himself. And I think that that baseball player felt a lot of pressure from a team saying, hey, you need to pull fly balls in the air. And what's coming to Vaughn naturally, I think, in Milwaukee is him getting out in front of pitches and hitting fly balls. If you go and look at all of his home runs, I think there's 1 to right center field. I think Vaughn has hit 6 in Milwaukee, whatever stupid number, 5 in Milwaukee. The other 4 are pulled to the right side. He's not doing anything that's out of the ordinary. It's everything that we said Andrew Vaughn should be doing this, pulling the ball. He is too small to be going to the opposite field. It's the same thing with Ryan Sandberg, RIP, right? Ryan Sandberg was going to the opposite field and hitting 19 triples in a year. And then Jim Frey, I don't know the Cubs managers. Jim Frey. I love
spelled F-R-E-Y. So yeah,
love the Eagles.
Yeah.
But anyways, Ryan starts pulling the ball, and he's got the 3rd most homers in second base history. Right. What they're doing with Colson, you even see with the homer today, that ball's not being pulled. It's going the opposite way. It's just keeping the swing the same. And more specifically, what they talked about with that swing change was not changing the swing, not having him look for balls out in front, because he is 6'4". He has those big levers to be able to hit a ball to left center. What he needs to do is just keep his swing the same. He doesn't need to be trying to overextend to pull balls. He doesn't need to be over-exaggerating to shank balls, right? Because if he just stays up the middle, swinging like he does, and if they can adjust the barrel to get him more of a sweet spot, you see what happens. I mean, his homers so far, 104, 108, 109, 105, and then today, 107.9. He also had a line out at 113.2. Like, he's got 2 of the 3 hardest hit balls on the White Sox today. Robert's still on this team. Robert had 2 balls today hit hard off of Walker, 110 and 103. 2 of them almost left the park, too. Like, this is a legit kid, and they're not effing up his development. This is a better sign than Miguel Vargas. This is a better sign than Edgar Quero. This kid had some true red flags, and what we've seen out over the last 8 games is a testament to Colson being a great athlete, the White Sox kind of knowing what they're doing, at least right now, and the coup de grace, seeing good baseball. I don't even know if I was able to tie that piece in. I don't even know if that's even the 3rd piece, but I've just been having fun. I don't even care. Like, at the end of the day, big boy hit ball far. That's fun. I don't need to tell you about the sweet spot and all this stuff. Like, the White Sox are just trying to make that big boy hit the ball far.
Well, there's been 2 things. There's been 2 things too, right, that have been most impressive. One, the graphic that they ran that he's 2nd in Major League Baseball in RBI since the All-Star break. Whenever that happens, it's just cool, right behind Kyle Schwarber. The second one, though, is, and I'm really interested to see, and you just kind of touched on so many different aspects of this, is one, what were you talking about early on in the season? Exit velo was down. It's obviously right now right up. The second part about that is it is going to happen. There is that classic cliched adjustment period that's going to come from opposing pitchers with his scouting report. But the cool part about it is I don't think Colson has not really had one game where I have felt like he's been overmatched, overwhelmed, just maybe looked like a rookie, maybe not seeing the ball great. Like, it happens to every single player that's trying to come up and learn the game. But even when he hasn't done something on one particular night, I don't know. He just looks like he belongs every single night out there, and that's what's been so impressive for me.
I agree. I think he does belong. I think he mainly belongs at shortstop, too. That's been like the one thing that's frustrating is, he hasn't been playing where he should be playing. The other thing that is a positive, at least, there's a number by Robert Orr, not that Bobby Orr, who writes for Baseball Prospectus. It's the Seager stat, and it's basically, do guys swing at pitches in the zone and not pitches outside of the zone? Right now, Colson has a positive Seager. It's not anything to get too excited about. Corey Seager, the namesake of the stat, obviously leads baseball in it and has led baseball in it for like several years. That's the whole gag. He usually has a Seager around like 26. Colson's around 3.5. So there definitely, is things that, he's not a perfect player. He's still swinging at some bad pitches. We need to see more of a sample, but this is, as Luke is asking, is this a better sign than the 2020 rookies we had? Yes, but that's also just with hindsight, because I think it's a positive that Colson hasn't seen a flare-up in his injury. I don't know what they've done, but we haven't seen him get banged up. I don't know. And
hasn't looked restricted at all. He looks athletic. He's moving fluid. I mean, there's no
drilling
nothing
balls
there.
113.
Yeah, there's no nothing there. That's great to see.
So, and the other thing too, again, is like with hindsight, who were the 2020 rookies going to go fall back on? Frank Minikino, who said, F the home run, let's hit 300. Like, that guy was their hitting genius. That guy probably could barely run his email. Now we have biomechanists. That sounds a lot better. Not only do those guys know how to run computers, they also know how to run those weird video games where they could hook up all those nodules and they could see your body on the screen and be like, oh, his elbow's dipping 2 quarters. It's
like in Rocky IV?
Exactly.
When they hook Drago up to the machine, that's what they're doing with Colson right now?
Right. I'm getting disparaged in our Discord here. We got Nilpak saying, can't believe Sean Anderson said we should have traded Colson for a 5-layer burrito in mid-May.
You don't know what was in the 5th layer of that burrito, to be fair. There was a secret ingredient.
We need the receipts. All right, we need somebody to actually find. I don't remember saying that. Hey, I don't remember saying that. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Make sure to subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We'll talk about Robert a little bit more. If you have any thoughts on Robert, let us know in the chat, and we'll take a break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. If you're a newbie, they have bud tenders who are so kind. so knowledgeable, and can help you in so many different ways. They have online ordering to make your experience extremely easy as well. So if you're an expert, you have over 100 strains to choose from, you could just walk in, place your order, and walk right out. Easy, breezy. A makeup brand that I won't mention because they're not a part of the read. They're Illinois' favorite dispensary. Sunnyside is. They have locations in the city like River North and Wrigleyville. They also have locations in the suburbs like Champaign and South Beloit. I love their location in Elmwood Park. Go check them out though, and make sure you use promo code HICHGO to get 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. If you're an existing user and you've already made 3 purchases, use promo code CHGO50 for 50% off one Cresco Lab branded item. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, Bright Buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. Go use our code HICHGO. Also, if you're in the market for a new car, go check our friends over at Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. This is your chance to score a great deal at the Employee Pricing Plus sales event. Right now, lease the new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab for only $399 a month for 27 months. I feel like we should have the prices right set, right? I should be like, you can lease this new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab for only $399 a month. You can also shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. They have a grand showroom at Ray CDJR, so go check them out at Fox Lake, and maybe they can prices right you up there. Also, hey, the price is right there. They got the race price promise. The price you see is the price you get. So no worrying, no hassle. You can just go in and buy a car the way it should be. For more information, visit Ray CDJR today on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com. Couple news and notes. Welcome back to the CHGO White Sox postgame show. We got over 60 people watching. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Just final things on the Colson torpedo bat. Again, I said label, and I think that's wrong. I was talking more about the big stick label up here. That's where the barrel is, right? And I think most people refer to this as the label, so that's my bad. So they're taking the barrel from the top of the knob, or this is the knob, top of the head of the bat, to the actual label here. So what Colson describes it is, I've got longer arms too, so just kind of shortening the barrel towards my hands keeps kind of helps a bit. I'm just trying to be on time as much as I can, getting the head out completely without flying open. And that's what the torpedo bat has allowed him to do. He's able to stay tight. And you can just see all of those homers. He's staying very close to his body. He's not getting extended or anything like that. He's not getting extended, keeping his head open, flailing open, trying to pull balls. He's not extending his arms, trying to, weakly tap things down the left field line. Like, he's just staying right and tight and just drilling balls. And that's very, very, very exciting. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. We'll talk about Luis Robert Jr. in a second. Again, on Vaughn, too. I feel like this will be prevalent for Robert, for Vaughn, as we're seeing. Tanner Banks said this. Across the board in baseball, sometimes that's what it takes. Just a fresh breath of air, getting away from a mediocre team to a playoff team. Vaughn went from the worst team that lost 121 games to a playoff team.
And the inverse was Miguel Vargas.
And the inverse was Miguel Vargas. He wasn't that good, though, and it still took him time. Anyways, let's get into some Luis Robert Jr. talk. I don't know what's going to happen if we're going to be just forthright and honest. I'm not sure where this is all going to end up. They have traded Austin Slater. They've gotten Gage Zeal back. Slater goes to the White Sox. Zeal comes to the Sox. Zeal was the 18th ranked prospect in the Yankees system, according to MLB Pipeline. I believe now Zeal is the 14th prospect in the top 30, which is a bigger issue we can talk about. The White Sox overall health of their prospects have gone down as a team compared to baseball. This was a team that was, near the top, but with Quero, Teel, Colson, I'm definitely forgetting my drop, but he wasn't a top 100. Burke, I guess. Burke was kind of slided in there in the top 100 for some outlets. With all those guys graduating, they've lost a decent amount of prospects. And now, I think on Fangraphs specifically, they're within the bottom 10 in Major League Baseball. And the Yankees really aren't even that filled out. Obviously, they have Spencer Jones, but they really don't have that great of a prospect ranking. And the fact that Zeal goes from 18 to 14 on our team kind of tells you where the health of this organization is. Zeal's interesting, I guess. Zeal is 22. Zeal is right-handed. He is a starting pitcher, was a 4th-rounder last year out of Miami. Go you. Shout out Romy Gonzalez, who had a 7th homer today. He has 14 starts in A-ball, 74 in the 3rd innings pitch, 4 ERA there. He's made 1 start at AA, 4 innings there, 9 ERA, which isn't good, but also 9 strikeouts per 9, and no walks, which is, hey, there you go. And that's kind of the big thing about him. Not a huge fastball, but he commands it well, and you can just look at the stats in minor league baseball, 7.5 or 7.65 K per 9 to 1.53 walks per 9. So again, a starter that's able to hopefully eat innings and not walk the yard. I don't know if he'll be a major league starter, but at the end of the day, what did you want from Austin Slater? It's a similar-ish return to William Bergoya being traded for Tanner Banks last year. It's a reliever. It's a platoon bat being traded for a sub-15 prospect. I think Bergoya has been interesting, and Bergoya is now the 13th prospect in the White Sox system, just 1 above Zeal. So I think he's interesting, but again, I don't know if Bergoya will ever make it to the majors. I don't know if Zeal will ever make it to the majors, because the one thing is he doesn't really have a reliever profile. He has a starter profile because he doesn't really give anyone a free pass. I don't think that he's going to see a major velocity jump to even anything really important. He throws 92, 94 right now. Maybe he gets to 93, 95. Maybe he gets to 94, 96, but that's still major league average. That isn't really reliever type. So it's a fine trade. I'm happy that Austin Slater was worth something, though. When they made the actual signing, having Tauchman and Slater as the platoon in what we thought was right field, I forget who we thought was going to play left field. I guess it was Taylor. So it was going to be Michael A. Taylor in left field and Tauchman.
And they thought maybe Benintendi would, yeah.
Well, no, Benny was looking like the DH. But I think it's good that we're getting something from Slater, right? You wanted to sign a platoon bat who was good enough to get you something. And Zeal's something.
I think
I
it's
bet his
awesome.
mother's going to love me saying that. Gage Zeal is something.
I think it's awesome. I don't need to see Gage Zeal throw one pitch to just think. I agree with Jim in the chat that I just think it's good business. Austin Slater didn't do much for us in the present. Certainly wasn't doing anything for us in the future. Who knows if Gage Zeal makes it? Who knows if he doesn't? Who knows if he makes it enough to the point where maybe he gets packaged in a trade for something that maybe we do want one day. I was impressed that they got a top 20 in the Yankee system prospect, which is now a top 15 in the Sox prospect guy for Austin Slater.
That's kind of the price. That's the price that they paid.
I think it's a good job. It's a thumbs up for Getz.
It's a thumbs up. I mean, here's the actual thing too. When you look at Fangraphs and future value, they signed Slater for $1.3 million. They paid half of that ish, right? So the Yankees are going to take on $700K. Zeal is likely above a 40+ future value, and those guys have a actual market value of $3.3 million. So you traded a guy worth $700K for a guy that's worth $3.3 million. So cool. That's cool, I guess. Why not? And that's not even straight up or anything like that, but this is just a fine deal. I don't have much else on Gage Zeal, to be honest with you. And they need arms. So good job, Chris Getz. We'll see if they do that with Tauchman. You could look at the way Tauchman was rounding some of these bases today, and he looked like Kirk Gibson in '88, post-Eck homer, just limping around. We saw him obviously have the complete fail trying to score in that Guardians game from home. It just did not go out well for him. I don't know if Tauchman's hamstrings are healthy enough. I could see him easily being on the team post-deadline. And there's the talk from James Fox that he still has arbitration left. So I could see Tauchman on the team next year. The one guy I'm looking out for, will Michael A. Taylor be traded? And then finally, they actually seriously entertaining Grant Taylor? Because Rogers from San Francisco.
Look what the relievers did today.
Well, honestly, I have come down a little bit. It's not that crazy. So the Mets acquired Rogers from San Francisco. I don't know if it's Taylor or Tyler because I'm confused because both brothers got traded. One got traded from the Reds. One got traded from the Giants. I think it's Tyler. Tyler's the crazy submariner that has a negative 60 arm degree angle, a major submariner. He has been the the pitcher that has appeared in the most games since 2021, like 736. And this year he's got an ERA plus of like 200. So the actual price to pay for a rental is steep. The Mets gave up Blade Tidwell, which is a crazy name, Drew Gilbert, and then Jose Butillo. And, what I've heard from Mets guys is like, they weren't making the team this year. And they're mostly on like the 40-man crunch next year. Like they might not even be protected from the Rule 5. So they got something of value in Rodgers. So like that is the one situation that the Sox are in, is hopefully the Yankees are like real desperate for an arm. And that's what drives up the price of somebody hanging out in their pen. I know Jim said trade relievers. I don't know if anyone's super interesting, but maybe. I think Taylor could possibly draw some interest as just a glove first outfielder. But I think Robert will be gone. It does seem like Getz is doing his best to leverage whatever he has in the media. Robert Murray put out the report about 2 days ago or 3 days ago saying the White Sox aren't afraid to pick up his option for 2026. This is CHGO, Sean, talking to you right now, okay? I won't put on my White Sox business hat. You'll be very clear when the White Sox business hat goes on. This is the head of business. This is CHGO, Sean. I don't run a baseball team. The option for $20 million does sound reasonable for Robert in 2026. So if you are not able to get something that you've been waiting for since post 2023, I would be fine to hold on for him or hold on to him. But now business Sean, I do not see this team that had to pay Luis Robert Jr. this year, that had to pay Andrew Benintendi, that had to pay Andrew Vaughn to stick around, where they let go of Vaughn. They still just can't get rid of Benintendi, and there was a report that they would attach money to get rid of him. I think that they want to be free of all of these big contracts. We didn't see them spend over $5 million for a free agent this year. I don't think that's changing in 2026. The free agent classes in 2026 and 2027 don't even look that interesting either. As business, Sean, when have you seen the White Sox pay a player $20 million a year? I think we talked about this. I don't think it's ever happened. The most is Grandal, I think, at $18 million a year. And maybe one of those years got up to 20. But I think Grandal is the only player to ever get up to that number.
And Lance Lynn Lance Lynn capped at 18.
I just don't think that this team that could possibly lose 100 games in 2026 will pick up the option if we're being dead serious. I think they are hoping and praying that they get a decent enough package to pull the trigger and trade Robert, which I think they'll get. I think that there is a 5% chance that he's still on the team post-deadline. My
pushback or my counter to that would be, and this is maybe what they're trying to weigh right now.
Are you pushing back on CHGO, Sean, or business, Sean?
Well, I'm not. I'm just trying to create a devil's advocate counter for business, Sean. That what if you could live in a world where the whole idea is, I'm not going to try and create some sort of simile to it, but the whole idea was trying to get Luis Robert up to a market value that would be beneficial for the White Sox. For Luis Robert Jr., to this point, he has not lived up to that end of the bargain until probably about the last 2 weeks. So if you don't trade him at this deadline, you are running the risk of him getting through the rest of the season. But if he already is trending in the right direction and he plays well, he brings himself back up to a market value that is now intriguing to you. You pick up the option and then you try and trade him in the offseason. I get it. A lot of steps.
This is business, Sean. This is viewers out there. This is business, Sean. It is a lot of steps.
Yep.
Do you know how I know it's a lot of steps? We just did it. We did it in 2023. It's the same steps that they've been doing.
And they held on to him.
They've been trying to hold on to him for the perfect package for years and years and years. I think that Chris Getz does not have the leash to let Robert be on the team for $20 million next year. I would be
who?
Oh, this is CHGO.
Hi.
I would be thrilled if they picked up that option for $20 million. As business, Sean, it doesn't make sense to pick up the option for $20 million. That's the kind of thing that I'm going through. Like, I would love to see this player continue his career in Chicago. I just don't trust this owner and this GM in the current state that they're in to put that type of money towards one singular player. I don't think that they want their salary cap over $75 million. They're currently not doing well running their own cable network. It was a lot more affluent to have NBC give you $300 million just to run one, right? Or whatever the number was. Like, I just do not see Robert being on the team in August. If I am wrong, I'd love to. I think that he's a really talented player. I think that him versus right-handers has been weird, but fixable. I'm fine to go through this whole saga again as a fan.
No.
Trying to think of them as a business, I do not see it happening.
No, that's 100% fair. And actually, in reality, I honestly side with Business Sean, who, by the way, for some reason, when you turn into Business Sean, your mustache kind of turns into some sort of, it goes up a little bit like a Monopoly guy. But no, and the other thing about it, too, is that if the White Sox were to spend $20 million on a player, they probably would not be spending it on Luis Robert Jr. at this point in his career right now with some of the health background and obviously some of the performance and production issues of this year.
And Jim saying they have the second to last payroll in the entire league right now. They don't care. They'll take the lowest payroll in the league, Jim. I don't know why that matters. Who cares about if they have the lowest or not lowest? They don't want to pay him $20 million is the point. The entire league picking up the $20 million is a no-brainer. Why? They've never paid somebody $20 million in a season. This guy right now isn't getting the offers in the trade market for a $20 million player. We're just gambling again another $20 million on him. Hey, Rick Hahn, his former GM, said, I'd gamble on him. Like, I think someone at the end of the day is going to gamble on him, and we don't have to have this discussion. If he's on the team in August, they're picking up the option. So it really just comes down to the next 22 hours. Will they or won't they trade him? I don't think when I have to come to you at 5:30, he will be on the team because I don't think they would pick up the option. I would pick up the option. You would pick up the option. Even though he hasn't shown it, he's the most talented player on the South Side since Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas is a Hall of Famer. Luis Robert Jr. will not be a Hall of Famer. But that doesn't deny the talent that he has. I think there's 6 players in Major League Baseball with an 85 percentile bat speed, 85 percentile sprint speed. There's another stat in there, 85 mile per hour average exit velocity. It's like Byron Buxton, Corbin Carroll, Julio Rodriguez, Bobby Witt Jr., and Luis Robert Jr.
It's good company.
Like, he's a very, very elite athlete. We have just seen nothing to the performance of a $20 million player. They don't spend $20 million on players when they're in a losing, rebuilding season. They barely spent $20 million when they were winning. It was a surprise that they spent on Grandal. They wanted to get Moncada and Robert and Eloy when they were cheap. They're not spending $20 million on Robert, period. Unless he was slashing 353, 423, and 352. But that's just in July. It's a question mark on if he'll even be healthy for 2 of the 6 months of the year.
I made that overlay, hopefully, that the Mets and Phillies were watching tonight.
Fingers crossed. I don't know. Dave says, I don't want to hear about bat speed and exit velocity when you're batting 200. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm just talking about the athlete that he is. That's why, again, I think that Jerry Reinsdorf thinks your way, Dave. They're looking at the production. Yes, he almost has 30 steals, but he's supposed to be a 30-30 player. The other half of that 30 isn't there. He's not even at 15. He's not even leading the team in home runs. He obviously can do that. He did that in 2023. It's going to be 2026. That was 3 years ago. Can he even stay healthy to hit 30 homers? I don't think that Jerry Reinsdorf is the type and has never been the type to go out and gamble $20 million. I wish he was. I'd love to see it. It's not happening. Ah!
That's what's so frustrating, too, is that honestly, if they kept Robert, he'd probably get to 20 bombs. He'd probably steal 40 bases. And he'd probably be like the first White Sox player to do that since probably like Rock Reigns. But we all know, we're if you watch the games every single day, he has been an incredibly frustrating player that for long stretches this season simply was not up to snuff with this talent that we're talking about. And he's not getting any younger. And the White Sox need to get younger, and they need to move on. It is time to turn the page.
And then, 2, you got Ryan saying, what's the most money on a player you think they'd spend this offseason? $5 to $6 mil. I think if they really like a player, and the White Sox outspend the Mets to get Eric Fetty, $7.5 million is like the highest I think they would spend. And that's really on a starter, because starter pitching is like fairly expensive. For the Cubs to get Matt Boyd, they had to spend $15 million. So if they want to add to the rotation, they won't. they'll have to spend $7.5 million. Dave's asking who steps in and plays center field if Robert's traded. That's not going to keep them from trading him. It could just be Michael A. Taylor. They could trade Robert, keep Taylor. Taylor's going to ride out to the end of the year. It could just be Brooks Baldwin. Dave's saying just getting rid of talent because the team's record is bad. It's because they're trying to rebuild and they're trying to get players that are controllable. At the end of the day, they have the option to or not to control Luis Robert Jr. And Luis Robert Jr., I think that we can agree, he is talented. He has not been worth $20 million. And you're right, it could be worth the gamble. We've been saying this for years. I don't think they want to gamble on Luis Robert Jr. anymore. So it might be ugly. It might be David Fletcher, Michael A. Taylor, or Brooks Baldwin in center field, but they don't care. They're on the rise, but they won't be like off the rise with Luis Robert Jr. gone. They're on the rise because of Colson Montgomery, Teel, Quero. Their window is now. Their window is not 2023 when Robert was young, cheap, and controllable. Think of it as the NFL. You have to win when your rookie QB is on his rookie contract. That's when it's easiest to add talent around him. You're not adding Kyle Tucker when you're paying Pete Crow Armstrong $400 million, right? You're paying Kyle Tucker $400 million when Pete Crow Armstrong's in his second year of arbitration. Luis Robert Jr. cost $20 million. They're not a team that's going to be paying players $20 million.
And just ask yourself, just try and be honest with yourself. When Justin Ishbia takes over this team in 2028, 2029, or 2030, whatever that year is, and if you're a White Sox fan and you're hoping that damn it, I hope that they're good by then, be really, really honest with yourself. Do you think Luis Robert Jr. is still going to be in his prime? Do you still think that all the talent and the speed, and do you think that's all going to be still tip-top in 2028, 2029, and 2030?
Because this effing team is cursed, yes. That kid will age like Dorian Gray. And the portrait, not actual Dorian Gray.
But we talked about it with Chris Getz and trying to turn this thing over. You have to figure out as many innovative and different ways to diverse the portfolio and figure out different ways to bring in talent onto this team that can help you in 2028, 2029, and 2030. Trading Luis Robert right now is the smart, prudent move. Trading him and getting assets into your prospect pool is smart. Drafting well in the MLB draft, that is smart. Signing internationally, getting better at analytics, and of course then canvassing and trying to find fringe free agent guys or maybe finding a diamond in the rough and bringing him in. You have to do it so many different kinds of ways. Luis Robert Jr. is our best asset right now. You simply cannot hold on to him right now. You have to try and get something for it and just hope that development works out.
Hey, and you know what? I mean, here's the thing. If they do stick to their guns and say, we could pay this guy $20 million, we don't care because we don't spend more than the Marlins, like Jim is saying. I understand what you're saying, Jim. I don't think that they're going to spend $20 million on a team that's bad. I'd love for them to double down and just keep doing this over and over again, but I think his talent's going to be
different day, different owner. That day will come.
Yeah,
just not today.
Up button if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We have coverage for the Bulls, Blackhawks, Bears, White Sox, Cubs. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're helping us grow. We're getting closer and closer to 100,000 subscribers. So tell your friends if you haven't already. We'll be back here at 5:30 on the CHGO Sports YouTube channel tomorrow for a trade deadline recap. If Robert is gone, we'll be here. Ryan brought a 3 a.m. podcast. I mean, if I'm up, I'll do it. My phone doesn't stay charged, though. So, my phone will be dead until I wake up. So, if it happens at, 8 a.m., I'll probably still be sleeping. Goodbye. I love you. Oh, that's the start of the show.